My friend, let's call her Chloe, had always been a hopeless romantic. For as long as I'd known her, which was pretty much since we were kids, she'd been talking about finding the one. She dreamed of cozy movie nights, long walks, shared ice cream, and all the classic couple things you see in movies. Chloe, now 19, often sighed dramatically about how lonely she felt, how all her friends seemed to be pairing off, and how she just wanted someone to share her life with. She'd say things like, "Oh, I wish I had a boyfriend to go to that concert with." Or, "It must be so nice to have someone to cuddle with when it rains." Honestly, my name is Maya, by the way, always felt a little bad for her. It's tough watching your friend want something so badly and not get it. Chloe is a really sweet person, funny and kind, and she's got a great laugh. When it comes to looks, well, she's perfectly normal. Not a supermodel, not someone who makes heads turn every time she walks into a room, but definitely not someone you'd call unattractive either. She's got a pretty smile, nice eyes, and she generally takes care of herself. I'd say she's pretty average, in the best possible way. Like most people, she has good days and bad days, but overall, she's just normal. And there's nothing wrong with normal. In fact, most people are normal, and most people find love. So, about a week ago, Chloe finally decided to take the plunge. After years of talking about it, she downloaded Tinder and Hinge, the popular dating apps. I was actually pretty excited for her. I thought, great. This is exactly what she needs. A chance to meet new people, maybe go on some casual dates, and just get herself out there. We talked about it beforehand, about setting up her profile, choosing good photos, and writing something that showed off her personality. She seemed genuinely optimistic, which was a nice change from her usual woe is me, I'm single routine. But that optimism didn't last very long. Maybe 3 or 4 days in, the complaints started. And they didn't stop. Every time we hung out, every time we texted, it was the same song and dance. "Maya, you will not believe the guys on these apps," she'd moan, dramatically flopping onto my couch. "They are all so, just so ugly." I'd try to be understanding. "Really? What do you mean?" I'd ask, genuinely curious. Dating apps can be a mixed bag, I knew that. Seriously, it's like a parade of ugly men. And so many of them are short. Like, ridiculously short. "Why do they even bother putting themselves on there?" she'd exclaim, throwing her hands up in exasperation. "And none of them are hot. Not a single hot guy has matched with me, Maya. Not one." Now, I'm not one to judge people's preferences. Everyone has a type, and that's fine. But Chloe's complaints were starting to feel a little extreme. She was painting this picture of a dating app landscape populated solely by trolls and goblins, which just didn't seem right. Most people on dating apps are, well, normal people. Just like Chloe. One afternoon, when she was particularly vocal about the ugly men invading her phone screen, I finally pushed back a little. "Okay, Chloe, you keep saying that. Can I see? Just show me who you're talking about." She hesitated for a second, then grudgingly unlocked her phone and navigated to her likes section on Hinge. She held it out to me, almost daring me to disagree. I took her phone and started scrolling through the profile she had swiped left on, the one she was calling ugly. As I scrolled, a small frown started to form on my face. Because what I was seeing was perfectly fine. More than fine, actually. There was a guy with a nice, open smile, decent hair, and a friendly vibe. Another one had glasses, looked smart, and had a cute dog in his profile picture. A third had a cool hobby listed, something about hiking, and a genuinely attractive, rugged look. None of them were models, no, but they were all moderately attractive. They looked like the kind of guys you'd see walking around campus, or at a coffee shop, or at the gym. They were, in short, normal guys. Average, just like Chloe. I scrolled through a few more, a mix of different types, all of whom seemed, to my eyes, perfectly agreeable looking. They were the kind of guys most people would consider in their league. Not super handsome, not traditionally hot, but definitely not ugly. "Chloe," I said, handing her back her phone, "these guys aren't ugly at all." She snatched her phone back. "What are you talking about? Look at them. Their noses are weird, or they're too short, or their teeth aren't perfect. They're totally ugly." I took a deep breath. This was the moment for some tough love, delivered as gently as possible. "Chloe, listen to me. These guys they're exactly in your league. Her eyes widened. My league? Maya. No way. I'm way more attractive than them. She said it with such conviction, as if it were an undeniable truth, like the sky is blue or water is wet. My jaw almost dropped. I loved Chloe, but this was getting ridiculous. She was average, and so were these guys. That was her league. It wasn't an insult. It was just a fact. If she thought she was so much more attractive than them, why wasn't she getting matches with the hot guys she was so desperate for? Okay, wait a minute, I said, trying to keep my voice calm and friendly, not accusatory. Let's think about this logically for a second. You just told me that almost everyone you see on the apps is ugly, and you also said that you don't match with any of the guys you do find attractive, right? She nodded emphatically. Exactly. See? It's impossible to find anyone. But Chloe, I continued, pressing my point gently, if you're not matching with the guys you consider hot, doesn't that tell you something? It means that, in their eyes, you might not be in their league. And if you're not matching with those guys, and you're calling these perfectly normal, decent-looking guys ugly, then maybe you are in their league. These guys, the ones you're calling ugly, they look perfectly good. And they're the ones who are actually interested in you. She looked at me, a flicker of something unreadable in her eyes. Maybe surprise, maybe annoyance, maybe a tiny spark of understanding. That's not fair, Maya, she mumbled, looking away. Why would you say that? Because you're always complaining about wanting a boyfriend, Chloe. I said, my voice rising slightly, out of sheer frustration and a desire to help her. And here are perfectly good, attractive enough guys who are showing interest in you, and you're dismissing them all because you think they're ugly and beneath you. If you keep holding out for guys who clearly aren't interested in you, or who are way out of your actual league, you're just going to stay lonely. You're never going to get that boyfriend you keep wishing for. The room went quiet for a moment. Chloe stared at her phone, her thumb hovering over the screen. I could see the wheels turning in her head, even if she didn't want to admit what I was saying was true. It wasn't about being mean. It was about being realistic. If she truly wanted a relationship, she had to be open to the people who were actually available and interested, and who were, objectively, a good match for her in terms of general attractiveness. I don't know if my words fully sank in that day. Chloe didn't suddenly have an epiphany and start swiping right on everyone she'd called ugly. But the complaints did lessen a little. She still grumbled occasionally about the lack of hot guys, but the intensity wasn't quite the same. Sometimes, she'd even say, okay, maybe this one isn't that bad, when looking at a profile that a week ago she would have dismissed as hopelessly ugly. Maybe, just maybe, a small seed of self-awareness had been planted. And for a friend who just wanted to be happy and find someone, I hoped it would eventually blossom into a more realistic and fulfilling approach to dating.